welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? And as we always said we would, we're going to throw you back in time to before little Nargo came along, to when we were young, free, skinny. So we're back in Western Australia, and if it wasn't for the long drives, it would be our favourite state. Speaking of long drives, we're going to be travelling up the coast from Esperance all the way to Ningaloo. So come join us for a lot of laughs.
What happened there?
Epic beaches and the most ridiculously cute animals I think I've ever seen. But first, we've got to get off this beach. We've had perfect weather the whole time we've been here, and then we wake up the moving day and it's raining. Look at how rugged up he is. Beanie, a big jacket, and a toothbrush.
I just want to get off this beach. Almost got the outside of the van done. Just got to hitch it back on, pull up the last two stabilizer legs, and then hopefully we don't have any issues pulling off because the car tires are back up at 25. I'm hoping this rain maybe has helped hard pack a bit of that soft fluffy sand, so if we can just pull off, drive down the beach and get out of here, that'll be great.
This looks like a tight squeeze, but it was fine when we've got a 21-foot van. If you're looking for a free camp close to Esperance, this beach camp was epic. We stayed for about 4 days. It's called Minute Beach, and we made a ton of videos, which are all linked here. So go check them out, but check them out after you've watched this video. Not right now.
The customary putting air back in all the tyres, getting the pumping up all 8 of these tyres back up to something reasonable, like 42 for these, or 45 for the van ones, whilst trying to give the compressor some brakes, because if you do it all at the same time, you can overheat your compressor and then you're absolutely jacked because you've got a couple of pumped up tyres and a couple not. So I'll be gentle. Oh, unfortunately we can't escape it. Unfortunately, our air compressor doesn't reach all the way back down where our van tyres are. You'll have to go hook this up to the
Batteries
deep cycle batteries in the van, pull this out the window, fill up those 4 tyres that way. My brain's not working yet this morning. Okay, turn her on. Righto, let's ride.
We popped back into Esperance for a super quick coffee with Dunk's dad, who's also travelling Australia in his converted Sprinter. We shared with him all the beaches we just explored, said our goodbyes, and then we're off. We never know where we will be when we next see Dunk's dad, hopefully up the coast somewhere warm. And if you're travelling around Australia, you'll know all about silo art. But in case you haven't or you don't, here's a little taste. So all the way around Australia, artists have started turning pretty ordinary looking silos into beautiful pieces of art. I believe, but don't quote me, that it all started from a Western Australia non-for-profit group called Form. This one, 2 hours west of Esperance, was painted by artist Emmett Ireland and depicts the 6 stages of Banksia bacteria, a wildflower native to Western Australia and I think is only found here between Esperance and Albany. The animals are the honey possum and the New Holland honey eater, which are the Banksia bacteria's main pollinators. Now, if you're like me and you love a good fact, here's 2. It took the artist 31 days and 338 litres of paint. Wild, hey?
This is actually the second one we've seen, isn't it?
Yeah. First one was in Albany.
First was in Albany, the weedy sea dragon.
So thank guys for creating something beautiful and helping us break up the journey, because it's especially important when you have a co-pilot that's seriously lacking in their co-piloting duties. I have no idea how he sleeps like this. Apparently, as a baby, his mum would drive him around to get him to sleep. But I'm pretty certain on long car trips, there's an unspoken rule about the passenger having to entertain the driver. Or is this actually fair? Please help us settle this argument in the comments. With Duncan fast asleep, I carried on the drive soaking up all the scenery. This wheatbelt region of WA is pretty beautiful. To be honest, it was nice to be behind the steering wheel for a change. As to Duncan's credit, he does do about 90% of the driving.
Actually, I think it's more than this, but I'll let it go.
About 2 or so hours later, we arrived at the famous Wave Rock. Not that you can see it just yet, as its location is actually on the northern face of Hyden Rock, and the best views are from the ground. So we'll put the drone down for now and get a closer look.
And here Sophie started to run around like a crazy person. I think she thought she was going a lot higher than she was, but as you can see, she's really not.
You don't look cool, I'm not gonna lie.
How insane is this? Wave rock, 15 metres tall, 100 metres wide, and formed over millions of years. It just blows my mind. I've just never seen anything like it. Millions of years ago, ground level way up there at the top of the rock. And so what it's saying is water ran off the rock, but because the top of the rock close to the sun, this top of the rock stayed drier for longer, whereas the bottom was really wet. And so then over millions of years of erosion, the bottom wore away, but the top being drier and hotter didn't. So you get this concave effect here.
I'm going to do the most Instagram and shot that we've seen 10 other people do while we've been here. I'm going to surf the rock. Like that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Enough messing and, yep, fooling around. Here's one more fact before we throw the drone back up for some golden hour magic.
What actually causes the different coloration of the wave rock and gives it that distinctive look that you will see on Instagram? It's just the combination of lichens and mosses that have died and disappeared and left a kind of black staining on the rock, and then the other one is like a form of cyanobacteria or blue-green algae that has also sort of lived here when there's been water flowing across and then died and then is stained it orange. So it's really nothing to do with the rock per se, but the algae, mosses and lichens that have grown on it. You can see that it's been running for ages because it's kind of more raised where the orange staining is. And you can see where the water's been running down. Either side of it, the blue-green algae is kind of collected.
With the drone batteries completely and utterly exhausted, it was time to head home. And when we say home, we mean head back to the van, jump in the car, and scour wiki camps for somewhere safe to sleep for the night. And here it is, home. It really is wherever we park it. We don't need much, just a safe lay-by in a sleepy town where we are legally allowed to rest our heads. We got straight on the road and somehow managed to film 0 of the 4-hour drive, but we make up for it at our next camp. This serene bush camp that feels totally away from it all. And yet, we're only 20 minutes away from Busselton. It's called Ravensthorpe Brook. You'll find it on Wikicamps, and it's located right in the middle of a conservation sanctuary. And the reason we booked it, other than the serenity, was for these guys. They were here to greet us and were around camp for most of our stay. They're such inquisitive little guys, very eager to get a good look at the camera.
How cool is it that you got these guys just around camp?
I know, that's so cute.
You're not meant to feed them, so that's good.
Yeah.
And we could find them some grass or something that they like eating that's not feeding them man-made things, then don't know if that technically is okay.
And whilst we could spend all afternoon here with the kangaroos, we wanted to talk you through quickly the repairs that we've got happening in Perth this week and why, spoiler alert, we're going to be spending a good few days in an Airbnb in our next video.
Things have happened while we've been on the road. A lot of things have broken on us unpacking away our little 120 watt flexible solar panel. The solar blanket is actually our only form of power at the moment when we're free camping. We have 300 watts of solar on the roof, but unfortunately, and I think we covered this in when we're at Warra Station or Sandy Point, not really getting any power from our solar panels, and our power just kind of gradually goes down and down and down and down and down. So we might be getting a little bit, but not enough to top anything up. So we're always in the red. And we got one of these, which is only 120 watts. But as soon as we got this, we realized that our battery started going back up again because we're actually getting solar power. So it shows that there's definitely something wrong with our solar setup. So hopefully when we take it into Corrimal with the other defects, they can fix that. Because we bought the van dealer new, so it would have been sitting on a show court in the sun for a period, and you don't know how long that is. So I think if I'd known that, I probably would have critiqued a lot of these more and got, actual tests done on the solar to make sure we're getting what we're getting. Anyway, Corrimal are going to take it. They're going to look at it all in Perth and then hopefully replace what needs to be replaced. This, I don't know what you call it. It's almost like sandpaper, but not with the sand. It's kind of like a rough textured adhesive wrapping. Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. A rough textured adhesive wrapping. Show you around this side. You can see this big white section here.
That's where Duncan was ripping things off?
Well, I mean, I did rip it off, yes, but it was because when we were at Esperance on the beach, it had filled up with sand because all of this had bubbled away. So it started filling up with sand and water and had these massive sand pockets in here. And then as we drove, you can see it sort of torn here. It was just flapping along. So we got here and I've kind of chopped it just to try and neaten it up so we don't look like we just have things flapping off as we drive up the highway. And this has happened all across the van. So Corrimal have said that they actually using a different wrap now. It's more of a hardened plastic and apparently doesn't have all these same issues. It looked kind of carbon fibery in the picture, and if that is, that'd be really cool because this helps when we're getting out of here, because there's very, very narrow bush camp roads and lots of this stuff. It isn't too sharp, but it's all at that height. And that's what this stuff's on there to do, is to stop you getting scrapes down the van.
So one thing that broke a really long time ago is this door. So it's completely come off the runners. It's meant to sit down here. At the minute it's not, it's completely loose. So when we travel now, because it's broken, I make sure it's locked in here, and then I'll generally wedge something in here just to make sure it doesn't move in transit. Second thing inside is the drawer. It's been a gaping hole for, again, probably about 3 or 4 months. The annoying thing about these drawers is what makes them come off is this tiny little grey piece of plastic that this catch clips into. And if that snaps, then there's nothing to hold this in place. It needs really, really strong catches in here to make sure when you shut things, they click lock shut. We're going to order some more of these, so if they do break when we're on the road, we don't have to wait until we get to a metro area to fix it. We can just unscrew it. You just unscrew these here, we could just replace it ourselves, super easy. So the last thing that we've noticed recently is the left side of the bed is actually coming away from the wall. So as you can see here, it's attached with 3 clips. The bottom 2 have completely broken.
The actual mounting bracket is just a piece of plastic, so it looks like the plastic is just sheared away. So if they'd done it with metal, something a little more sturdy, probably wouldn't have had the issue. So yeah, hopefully they can replace it with something, even just like a little L bracket piece of metal with 4 screws. I would think would hold it better than 4 pieces of plastic.
Yep.
We timed our trip to Busselton to coincide with the annual Southwest Beer Festival. Funny how these things work out. And this was definitely more about us wanting to celebrate local businesses than just really wanting to try all the beers. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Gotta say, the festival is well worth a visit. Always good to taste something new, and there's a lot to taste. We barely got through half the beer tents, if that were there. We got a lot of samples and tried some really nice drinks. Beer, cider, sours, and some damn tasty food from the truck bites, which we didn't really seem to film, but trust me, it was good.
Sour cider. That's what it is. It's not a beer.
With our bellies full and the sun setting, we headed back to camp ahead of a 4 a.m. start to Perth. But not before a quick listen to this awesome pop-up music tent, which was showcasing young, upcoming artists. And this guy was an absolute standout, so here he is. Play us out. Catch you in the next one.
It's my time to shine, yeah. I'ma be a great one even after I die. Forever in your mind, catch me before I